Good morning, warriors. It is Brent Harding in the house, and you know what we do every Saturday morning. It is about the warrior in us. It's about creating wealth. And I am excited because, as usual, we got a good show for you. Get ready for some nuggets. And I'll tell you what, I got to start out by saying something. E3, power up! Is coming on November 5th, and we are excited. There are only 20 tickets left. Ladies, you want to grab your tickets. Yeah, I know it was an announcement. I'm doing a commercial break right now. So with that being said, let me go ahead and introduce my co-host, and I'll start off with none other than, our researcher personified. This woman is in the know. She knows the hot topics, and she's going to give you a 30-second prelude into the hot topics we'll be discussing today. None other than Alina Lopez-Thomas. Alina, take it away.
Good morning, Wealth Warriors. It is a beautiful day this morning, and I'm happy to be here on air with everybody. And we are going to be talking about the future of business and the small giants and what that actually is about. We're also going to be talking about minority women entrepreneurs, and then we're going to move over into real estate and childcare. What does that mean? So we're going to talk about that real quick. So those are the three topics that we're going to hit on.
Awesome. Oh, I apologize. Finish that out, ma'am. Finish that out.
Nope, just looking forward to it.
Okay. We're going to have Pamela Stone joining us shortly. So we're going to get underway with today's hot topic. It is time to accelerate. That means accelerate, build up, get prepared for our game plan. Key number 3, and that is real estate, and more real estate. I want to talk about 4 areas for us. I want to talk about credit. I want to talk about our cash, employment, and tax returns. Those are the 4 nuggets that we're going to be discussing today. So somebody go ahead and put those in the feed. Again, credit, savings, employment, and taxes. Because when you are going to a lending institution, whether it's a bank, whether it's a soft money lender, whether it's a hard money lender, whatever the case may be, those 4 topics are going to be critical. And so that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. However, before we get underway, we want to invite folks into the broadcast this morning because this is very strong stuff. This is number 3 in our 12 keys to wealth. Let's talk about them. Make sure we know what they are because we've only been talking about it. We started talking about it last week. We talked about it last year. Now we're ready to accelerate the game plan. So let's hit it. Credit is actually number 1 on our key because you know what I've always said, you can never have as much money as you've got credit. If you've got credit, you've got access to getting more. And it's about leverage. That is an incredibly powerful word. Now, please don't be like me and over leverage. And then you got to go back and begin it again. So learn from all of us so that you can catapult yourself ahead. Key number 2 is insurance. A lot of people do not realize how powerful insurance actually is and what it can do, how it can benefit us. Key number 3 is what we're talking about today is real estate. We're going to be talking about that for the entire month of October. Then back to business. You know, I keep sharing with folks the 2 most powerful foundations for all of our portfolios. Owning our own business, real estate. And ironically enough, you notice I didn't put the word money there because when you have those 2, guess what? You've got access, leverage, and that begets money. Next one, trust. A lot of us need to be looking at putting our property, our assets into trust. And there's a purpose and reason for that. And now that we've been at this for a year, a little over a year, we are now ready to catapult. It's called trajectory. You know, we talk about personal development. This is transitioning, trajectory, and trajectory is powerful. Next one, financial planning. We are going to need experts around us, people that actually help us. However, we have got to be educated. We have got to know for ourselves. Oprah always speaks about the fact that, listen, we've got to handle our stuff. We have somebody working with us. We are always in control and in charge. We're talking about investing in tangibles. What kind of tangibles? Jewelry. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that sell jewelry. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to invest in jewelry that appreciates. Gold always appreciates. It has no place to go but up. And then we're going to talk about our accounting, because we do need to be in the space of accounting. What are we documenting that we are able to make tax deductions on? And I have news for you. I talked to a gentleman yesterday, and I said to him, why are you doing all this work yourself? Your role is to oversee that, not to be in the mix of doing it day to day. Now, your name is on it, so you're responsible. I get that, but not on the day-to-day basis. Of course, money, cash. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, cash is king. We'll be talking about that. Taxes, taxes, taxes. There is still time for us to reduce our tax liability. Notice I didn't say avoid. I didn't say avert. I said reduce. And then, who's our mentor and who's our coach? Do we have a personal coach? Do we have a personal mentor that we can talk to? Important stuff. And then last but not least, how do you become the expert? With that being said, let's talk about it's our time. It's our time to accelerate our game plan. We've been playing at this for a while, reading the books, hopefully, paying and kind of painting the picture and figuring things out. Now it's time to take the action. So what is the action? Credit. But one of the most powerful words on the planet, and in some instances more powerful than money. How are our wealthy people leveraging themselves? They're accessing credit. And what's interesting right now is the number. We know that 900 is the highest number you can have in credit. And at one point, 660, 680 got you a lot of leverage. Now, those FICO scores are looking for the bottom to be 720. They're looking at 720 to 850 as credit scores. In fact, I saw something yesterday. It said the credit score was 730 and it said good. And I was like, good? Are you feeling me on that, Alina?
Yes, definitely.
That's only considered good?
I'm just laughing because I seen an F.
I was like, oh my goodness. When I was in mortgage brokering, I mean, we were happy at 680s. We said, yeah, that's good credit. And I mean, in 720, we said that is excellent. And I'll tell you, we need to get Kelly McGovern on, who has a mortgage brokering firm, to talk about what the market is saying they want, what those lenders are saying they want for credit scores. Because I got to tell you, if 720 and 730 is only good, what are they expecting of us now? So here's the point. It is imperative that we get our credit scores up, we get our credit scores clean. And with that, we need to start what's called a credit sweep. We need to get that credit swept correctly. And before we start going out and deciding we're going to apply for more credit, get that squared away, because inquiries are now, I'll tell you what, let's put it to you this way. When a creditor sees 3 inquiries and a line of credit has not opened, they're nixing it because they're afraid that the other creditor is seeing something that they didn't see. So believe me when I say credit is king, second only to cash right now. But again, the more credit you have, the stronger the picture. We are actually going to be talking about some services that you will want to take a look at or that you will benefit from. There are people out there that are professionals that for a living will help resolve the credit issues, will help clear that stuff away in an expedient fashion. And I am pleased to announce, no, I'm going to hold on that announcement, wait until the end. But again, credit is king. Yeah, I got to hold it. I mean, you gave a little, I gotta keep them till the end. Hold on, but we're going to give it to you. So again, now it appears that the bottom rung, if you will, when it comes to your credit score to qualify for conventional lending is going to generally be about 700. Between 700 and 730 is now considered good. Now, does that mean that if you have a credit score that is less than that, that you're not able to get a mortgage? Absolutely not. However, you want to be in the space of paying the least amount of interest possible. Loans are at 3.88%. That's what you want to be paying, not 6%, 7% in an arena where 3.88 is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Credit is going to make a pivotal difference with that. So I'm going to give you a nugget here. Stop credit until you get your credit reports and take a look at the scores. Then we can talk about whether it makes sense for you to be applying for credit. If you are already there and you've got awesome credit, then that is fantastic. That means that you are able to start purchasing sooner. But we want everybody that's on the broadcast, everybody that's in the Wealth Warrior community, investing in real estate, because real estate is a staple. You know, one of the beauties about real estate is even if your property is upside down, there are still people that want to rent. They want to rent. They need a space to live. They may not be in position yet to get a piece of property. So your asset, it is still an asset, even in a topsy-turvy environment. It's still an asset. In fact, you can start renting property by the week. There are entities out there. In fact, Alina, you spoke about this last week. I don't want to take away from your hot topic, but share a little bit about people renting their space, renting their homes, renting rooms. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Oh, you're speaking Airbnb?
It could be that. It could be something else. I mean, sometimes people aren't even going through Airbnb because they just don't want to pay the fee.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, that's another one too. Hey, thanks for the idea. Well, I mean, that definitely is one of the things that people are doing, as we know, or as some people may know. That is how Airbnb got started. The person actually that started that company started by having somebody stay in their house right on their couch. And that cost for that person staying on their couch, I believe it was like $40. But I took the leap and I said, let me
wait a second, $40? $40? I got 4 couches. Anybody want my couch right now? I got 4 of them. Let's go.
Hey, you know what? I was walking around my house counting my couches too. But you know, that's one of the things that people are doing right now, is that a lot of people are so interested in just being able to come in, stay for a short period of time, and just stay inside of somebody's home, like I said, for a short period of time. And people want to monetize pretty much everything. It's considered a service. And so paying for a service like that is something that's happening more and more and more. I looked into it and it had an option for everything. I mean, you could stay in the house, you could leave the house, they could stay for one day, they could stay and just use your microwave, not use the microwave. I mean, it was for everything. I know that some people also do it and they may own a home and they may actually rent out their whole apartment for it. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to look into the whole real estate market and how to make money with it. So
I like that. You know, what's interesting about that is you'll have people that are coming into town and they just need some place to change their clothes. And they're not looking to spend a goo gop of money going to a hotel or having to book the hotel just so that they can do something about 4 or 5 hours. And that's what's making it interesting. So actually, as you said, they need a couch, they need a space, they just want someplace to put their bags that are safe, and they want to be able to come back.
Yes.
It is called Monetized, ladies and gentlemen. Let's monetize.
Monetize.
Now, before we go on to the next ones, the savings, the employment, the tax returns, we got to invite people into the broadcast so that they can hear and they can see what is going on and they can get those nuggets as well. So you know what we do. We're going to go up on Twitter and we're going to give a shout out. And we are going to cause people to come on into the broadcast. So without further ado, you know what we do. All we need to say is join us on the Wealth Warrior broadcast, or join us on Facebook. I like that even better. Join us on Facebook. Join the Wealth Warriors on Facebook, whichever combination you like. Now, let me do it right. Join the Wealth Warriors on Facebook. Give you a few seconds to type that up. Then we're going to hit the enter and we're going to move it out. Let's increase the number of people that are hearing this message, because that's what's going to turn the time. You know what? We are deadly serious about 100,000 people in the next 48 months around the world. And the beauty is we are so global now. I mean, we've got the Periscope, we have got Facebook Live, we got all of these mechanisms. We are bringing China right into our living rooms. And it is that simple. So what used to be perceived as non-real or it couldn't happen, no, ladies and gentlemen, it can happen. It can happen right now. So with that being said, Facebook, Wealth Warriors, let everybody know, join the Wealth Warrior broadcast now. We're going to do this on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hit the enter button. Flash mob! That's what we call this, a flash mob. For sure, for sure. And while we're at that flash mob, I want to say good morning and welcome to Debbie Vars, who I'll tell you what, she has turned out to be our monitor. She lets us know, okay, the show is moving in the right direction. And if it's not, she goes, hey, so want to say good morning and thank you very much, Debbie Vars, for checking in. We saw you. With that being said, let's move on to the next piece, and that is our money. That is our savings. You know, a lot of people hear things like, oh, no money down. Yeah, that is true. That does not mean you don't have any cash. You got to. Alina, is cash king or what?
Oh, most definitely.
Is green still a popular color?
Yes, it is. I'll tell you what, it's on my logo.
Yes, it is. I'll tell you, one of my favorite colors is green. And I'll tell you what, no matter where you go in the world, green is still it.
It sure is.
So when we talk about what kind of cash or money that you need, more often than not, I'm going to say, first and foremost, it's got to have a comma in there. So it's got to have a digit in front, a comma, and 3 zeros and a dot. Okay, what are we talking about? We're saying that, you know what, at a minimum, I'm going to really encourage you to have at least $5,000 in available cash to play in the game. $5,000 to turn the tide, so that you have, even if you are doing a no money down, you still have closing costs. Oh, well, Brent, you can roll the closing costs into the mortgage. Yeah, you can. However, you're not going to be able to roll everything in. And even if you can roll everything in, the lender wants to know that you still have some available cash to cover the mortgage in case, for whatever reason, in the case of a 3-family, that you still have cash. So let's say your tenants don't pay, or let's say you haven't ramped up yet. And in a 3-family, you're living on 1 floor and 1 other floor is not rented. You still have, you know what, your tenants, it is not their responsibility to pay your mortgage. Alina, you are a landlady. Talk to us about that. Am I speaking or am I not speaking?
Well, you absolutely are speaking. Unfortunately, um, it's definitely true. You definitely have to have that money. You have to have that money to be able to pay for your mortgage.
And there are times when I've heard folks say, they'll talk to their tenants and they'll say, hey, you know what? I need to pay my mortgage. Then by all means, pay that mortgage. They have a responsibility to pay their rent. You, as the landlord, landlady, renter, owner of that property, have the responsibility to pay for the mortgage. And that leads me into a conversation about the types of property. What would you be purchasing right now? My suggestion is always going to be an investment piece of property that is multiple units. Because right now, for you and I, we are real estate investors. I do not use the word first-time home buyer. Be a first-time real estate investor. However, I'm not going to use the word first-time home buyer. And the reason that I'm not going to use that word is because too often that word allows us to feel comfortable, and it allows us to not be in the space of the mindset of wealth. You're a real estate investor, whether it's the first property or it's the third property. And in fact, you can be a first-time home buyer for the purposes of a program or a mortgage product. But in the mindset, it's always got to be that you are an investor, because investors create wealth. Investors pass that on to the next generation. Investors live now and here in the moment. However, they've got a 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan that is being executed every single day. And they are accountable to that plan. I got to tell you something. There is nothing more sexy than being able to accumulate the real estate, accumulate the wealth, and to have it structured to pass on to the next generation. You know, I want to get real, because this happened to me this week. I said to someone, I was talking about them attending the E3 Power Up event, and the person said, "Oh, well, I gotta check my budget to see if I have the money." Wouldn't you love to live in an environment where that is not an issue, because you did the work now and you are living your dreams? Would that not be? I'll tell you what, in 60 months from now, we better not have to say, oh, I got to check the budget. Yeah, I had to take a pause on that. I feel that strong. Lena said, wait a minute, what's going on, Brent? Did you stop?
Oh,
no.
Hold up. Hold on, let me send you some coffee. Here you go.
Oh, yeah. Stop drinking the coffee, Brent. Stop drinking the coffee. I feel that passionately and that strongly that we ought to be in a position where we live our dreams. We do the work now so that we can live the dream. It's like being on a diet. Do the work now so that you can wear that dress that you want to wear, or pull in the waistband, fellas, pull in the waistband. That's the kind of lifestyle that we're talking about. And it requires that we do the work. And part of that work has got to be the foundation. It's got to be the portfolio. So how many properties do you have in your portfolio? Let's start with a powerful one, and that is a 3-family piece of property, so that we can leverage that for the next piece of property. And we ought to be at the point where every year to every couple of years, we are able to make an acquisition. Now, notice I went from I didn't say the word buy, I said acquisition, because that's a change of language for us. So with that being said, we've got to have some cash, and cash is king right now. We talked about the bell curve last week. And in the bell curve that we talked about, we said that we are getting ready to hit a storm. We are in the form stage, because the last one was 2006. This is 2016. We are in the form stage. We are anticipating a storm in our real estate about the end of 2018, 2019. So what ought we be doing? Accumulating the cash. And there are so many ways to monetize. Alina, give everybody a definition of monetize, your definition of monetize. Share your definition with us.
Well, I think that my definition of monetize would be definitely to take, and well, maybe not take advantage, but to be resourceful and to think diligently about ways to make money in a resourceful way. Yes, that's really what it's about. So you're thinking hard about how it is that you're going to make money to benefit yourself and also for your family. Instead of, I can talk about myself, it's more in the old-fashioned way. I sort of had those pockets that just sort of leaked open. The ATM machine type thing, just tap me and I'll let it drop out my pocket.
Or wait a minute, or the kids who said, "Oh, you have money, Mom. It just has to go to the bank."
Absolutely. My monetizing even is, even you can monetize even with yourself, whether it is that now when you go to the store, you recognize the fact that you can actually use that 25% coupon. And you actually use the 25% coupon because you did sign up for the rewards program in the first place. You did actually get $2 back, and why don't you just cash the thing in? You can monetize in another kind of way. You can pay your stuff on time, and then you don't have to call in through the voicemail and pay an additional $19.95 when you could have just mailed it. I got that the other day when I called my mortgage company. She said, "You could have mailed it." And I was like, "Oh, that's free." So,
Okay.
there's a whole bunch of different ways to think about monetizing.
Absolutely. Do you have an art? Do you have a craft? Do you have something that you do?
Don't make me go there.
Please go. Go. Take it over. Take it over. Yes.
You
go
talking
there.
about a craft?
Talk about a craft. Yes.
Oh, that kind of monetizing. Well, pretty much if you can make it and if somebody else likes it, then hey. There are so many people that monetize different things and different skills that they may have, whether it's in the baking field, whether it's in, I think I talked about this last week, whether it's in photography, it's in the graphic design field. Right now, I'm in the little shoe business field, I'm calling it.
Hey. It's ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something. When you will see some amazing shoes come November 5th, she ain't letting them be seen. Oh, bad to the bone. Yes, ma'am.
Hey, it's all about taking a particular craft and you learn something. And then instead of giving it away, you actually say, well, you know what? Let me think about this. Let me actually get paid for this because then I can make more and get more. So that's what it is.
And I love that because, again, what is the goal? The end goal, the end result, the end game is that piece of property. Is that piece of property. You know what, Alina, take a moment. You remember the woman that you talked about that actually made a business out of her basement, out of selling the extras that she had in her basement? Talk to us about that for just a quick moment. Because this all, ladies and gentlemen, is under the realm of getting the cash that you are going to need in order to purchase that asset. Because I'll tell you what did I share before last week? In fact, it was interesting because the gentleman said to me, we have some family property, and the gentleman says, he says, well, you're asking for this price, but I can give you cash right now for this price. The difference in what the asking price is versus what the cash is that this gentleman was talking about blew me away, because what he ends up saying to me is that it was a $20,000 difference because it was cash, because he knows that cash is king. And I wouldn't have to wait because it's the time value of money as well. Very pivotal.
Yeah.
Would you not agree, Alina?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And so there are so many things because the end game is about the property. So check out that basement. And I'm sorry, Alina, you were going to speak on that. Tell us about the woman that built a business out of her basement.
That particular person started her business from zero. And with that business, it grew by her selling her extra clothing, her you know, her things that she didn't want it, but other people would see as treasures. And out of that, she was able to make a business and be very successful at that business. So she did more than one thing. She was able to obviously make money from it, but she also started a business, a small business, and became an entrepreneur in it. So very successful there, and that was really good. But that's, I mean, I don't know how many of us have. If you got a basement, then you got something in it, I'm sure. Is the way I look at it. And I think last week you spoke about the fact, Brent, that, you know, there was different ways that you can do it. A lot of times we think that we have to have a yard sale or something like that. But what about having a basement sale? Come on down to my basement. And
that's what I'm talking about.
I'll set it up, you know, because in different areas, I think you spoke about, in different areas, it's, you know, it's colder weather, whatever the case may be. And I thought about that and I said, you know what, I cannot get that stuff out of my basement, but I sure can invite you in. Now you may have to dunk and dip and whatever, but if you can handle it, come on in and come get all of this glasses and everything, you know, and I can make some cash from it.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I was in my basement this morning, looking in my basement at all the stuff. And I'm going, yeah, I'm thinking about a basement sale for sure. Move the stuff over that I'm not getting rid of. Yeah, this is your treasure. Go for it.
Yeah.
So, that is cash, ladies and gentlemen. Credit cash. Let's talk about stability. When it comes to that loan, when it comes to that mortgage, to purchase that, to make that acquisition that enhances your portfolio. How do you like that for language? Alita, how good was that? Was that a good sentence?
That was a very good sentence. Nothing like a portfolio.
Like a portfolio, absolutely. Talk the language. Well, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that employment becomes the great stabilizer. Employment, or we can put it another way, where the consistent revenue stream is coming from that's going to pay for that asset. More often than not, lenders look at employment. They see employment as a critical factor. And they're looking for a 24-month period of time. 2 years. However, 2 years is 24 months. Have I ever seen a loan turned down for 22 months? Yes, I have. They're looking for 24 total months minimum. Now, I have strung together a 24-month period. For example, you have a person that's working in a nonprofit environment or a tax-exempt organization, and they work in the real estate department. They leave there and they go and work in a bank. Now, they were in the real estate department for 17 months. They're still short. However, they now go and work in a mortgage brokering firm or a mortgage firm or a bank. We string together the 24 months. Now, in that instance, I have written an explanation letter, because what happened is they left the tax-exempt organization and they went to work for a bank and they made more money. They increased their money. And so it was something that made sense to the lender. And it denoted stability. Now, conversely, what are we talking about if we say you are now, you're now self-employed? You now own the business. Your tax returns are going to be pivotal. And I'll come to that in just a moment, but let me hit up and finish out the employment. When you leave one job and you go to another and it's diametrically different, you went from teaching as a teacher to being a travel agent, working for a travel agent. You have income, you have stable income here, stable income here. These are two diametrically different. A year here and a year here. A lender wants to see you on your job, your specific job, for 24 months. So a year here and a year here is not typically going to cut it when it comes to employment, even if It is an increase in the revenue stream that you're going to get. They want to know that you've been around, because typically it takes a year just to, when you pass the 1 year mark with an employer and you have that, evaluation, they want to know that you made it past the evaluation stage and you're going to continue on. So it is imperative that you think through and see. Now, here is a time when you say to yourself, okay, self, I really want to change positions. I want to change jobs. I want to go work in that company. However, this asset is calling my name, and the asset is at a great price. Maybe you want to hold off on moving to that new job because you've got a greater purpose for you and your family, and that is the acquisition of that asset. But Brent, that new job is going to pay me an additional $10,000. That asset is going to give you leverage for a lifetime. It's all about our choices. Alina, speak to choices relative to with a conversation about transitioning. Speak to choices, if you will.
Speak to choices. Well,
Yeah,
I mean, everybody has a choice to make. I mean, just in the point that you were making about moving on for the additional $10,000 or whatever it makes. I mean, in my, crazy little silly mind, the only thing I was thinking was the taxes were going to take it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But
that was perfect. Thank you. I couldn't ask for a better one than that. That was perfect.
Don't worry about it. Just get the house, because the house is better. I mean, that's the only thing I was thinking. So you have a choice to make, is to get your stability of your home in place. And I'm sure that there will be a job somewhere later on, and it'll probably be much better for you, making about $20,000 or $30,000 more, $40,000, which is even better. So, that's a choice that you have to make.
In fact, you know what? Or you can monetize yourself up there.
That's even better. Much better.
Hello.
There you go.
Hello, because you then have control of your time. Yes, there you go. Absolutely. I love it. Tax returns. Since Alina brought up that word tax, let's jump right into the tax return side for a moment. Tax returns. Self-employed, employed. If you are employed in a conventional job, then typically you're talking about 2 years worth of tax returns. If you are self-employed, then you're talking about 36 months worth of tax returns, so 3 years. Now, the interesting thing about the self-employed is that we try desperately to zero down, to pay the least amount of taxes possible, the least amount allowable by law. However, when you are looking to purchase a piece of property and you are going conventionally, you are getting a conventional loan, that becomes an issue. Because the bottom line, the adjusted gross income, is what the lender is looking for. You might have made $100,000 and you were able to reduce the taxes down to $15,000. Woohoo! You did your job. And it benefits you and your family. You brought back the bacon. Here's the problem. Again, they're looking at the AGI. They're going to say, yeah, we see the 100,000, but here's the AGI. This is what you really got, because you had all of these tax deductions. So that meant that as far as a lender is concerned, all of that went out. In walks stated income. Well, Brent, I can get a stated income loan. Yes, you can. Now we go back to the beginning of this conversation, and that is, what's your credit score? Because the stated income, you're stating the income that qualifies you for the loan, is predicated now on how strong, how stable you are with other creditors. So the tax return is pivotal. That's why you want to talk to somebody like myself. You want to talk to a Kelly McGovern. You want to talk to those that are in the know so that we can plan it out. We want to accelerate the game plan, but we've got to know what the game plan is so that we can create trajectory. That is critical mass. And speaking of tax returns, we are in the tax season. See, the tax season for wealthy people does not start in January. Or let me rephrase that. It starts in January for the following year, because we're already thinking not about the 2016 tax return. We're thinking about the 2017 tax return. We're clearing out the 2016. There is still opportunity for you to reduce your tax liability and to take that cash and set it aside for that property. Because again, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to make a disclaimer. I am not a financial planner, but I'm going to tell you right here and now, experience tells me that the cycle, we're in the cycle, and you have such an awesome opportunity. Think outside of the box, ladies and gentlemen. There is property in other parts of the country that you are able to acquire at great pricing, put tenants in there, and go visit that property every now and then. Start thinking outside of the box. A lot of us only thought about property in Massachusetts. We never looked beyond there. Now, obviously, there are some places that we may not want to invest in. However, there are a lot of places to invest in that are outside of the state that you can make some serious money in. We're going to be talking about that next week when we have a guest speaker, a realtor, who's going to talk to us about outside of the box. Okay, Alina, did I put some nuggets on the table this morning?
Absolutely. You put a whole bunch of nuggets out on the table.
I was going to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not get any nuggets this morning, okay, we need to have another conversation offline.
Offline. Call me.
That's right. Call me so we can have that conversation. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to hit the hot topics. I know you all been holding on. You said, okay, Brent, come on. We need to hit the hot topics. Now, I know you've been holding on. So without further ado, I want to introduce the woman of the hour who not only knows the hot topics, she knows what's trending. None other than Alina Lopez Thomas. Alina, take it away, Dave.
All right. So what is trending right now? One of the things that we're going to talk about is the small giant. And what is that small giant? There's an article that I recently read, and it discussed the fact that everyone in TV to magazines are all talking about small businesses and the roles that they play in the U.S. economy. I think we can all agree that small businesses are definitely being talked about a lot. You see it on the television, you see it in magazines, you're seeing it everywhere. So at this particular point in time, small businesses are being considered small giants. Does that feel good? Hey, that feels good.
That feels awesome.
Hey.
Yes, it's our time. Thank you.
Hey, I feel good. So anyway, these small giants, as of today, there are about 30 million small businesses in the United States, 6 million which have employees, and therefore you can see that that's one reason why they would be so popular. Just for that reason alone, if you look at the amount that are out there. Once again, these are the small giants, and I'm sure they're going to be growing. If you're interested more on that particular topic, that article, you can look into the Forbes magazine. Chris Myers is the contributor to that magazine on October 2016. Another one was the minority woman entrepreneurs, go-getters without resources. Now, this was, yeah, I know you put your hands up, then put your hands down, huh?
Yes, I did.
But you know, it's a true fact. There was a couple of key things said there. Go-getters, they are go-getters, but the resources. It says, you know, it talked about the fact that minority women business owners, they're at the forefront, which we all know, but they have few people to really lean on financially. This article also spoke about that although minority women, Black and Hispanics, are the fastest growing at the rates of, listen to this, 133.3% and 191.4% from 1997 to 2007. Still, their financial resources are still limited. So in a combination, if you was to look at all of the businesses, they represent 2 million of the 8 million women-owned businesses in the country. Wow. So that's a real good fact. That's a lot. So if you're fitting into that, you're part of that 2 million. But
I was going to say, you know what? And guess what? And we've got an answer to that resource problem, do we not? We're going to talk about that at the end, yes?
Yes, absolutely. So this is another one that you can look, this magazine, October, and Megan Cashley is actually a staff member at Forbes, and this is the one that she wrote. Now, this is another one, an article that I saw, and this was actually in the Telegraph. The Telegraph is out of London. And although this topic is coming from London, it's something that's very dear to me.
Ooh,
and also to
Brent, hot.
I'm sure. But it talked about the fact that 1 in 6 mortgage applicants were refused for spending too much on childcare. That there's a high cost of childcare costs that are harming families' abilities to actually get mortgage approvals. Now, that's pretty much what I put out there because I really want to see what's going on here. Because like I said, this is in London. I also would like to see what, you have somebody coming on from a mortgage company, correct?
Yes.
Well, I think I have some questions for that person.
What you're saying is, Brent, I'll be doing the interviewing on that one. Oh, I got that.
Well, at least I have 2 questions for that person. But definitely, we do know anybody that has their children in childcare, whether you're a parent, a grandparent, or whatever, a caretaker, whatever wherever you're at with a child, you know that child care costs are very, very high. And that being the case, it's going to make it so that other things are more difficult to get because you're expending in one particular area more than in another. So I thought that this was very timely, definitely something that I want to look further into because it's a subject that's very dear to me. In regards to childcare and the fact that people are being turned away for their mortgages for that. The last thing that I want to leave you with, that was the 3 hot topics. I want to leave you with something. And I thought that this was really good because it sort of sums up everything for entrepreneurs. But basically, it's a quote. It's a quote from Milton Berle. And he says that if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door. Well, there you go.
Oh, put that in the feed. That has got to go in the feed for sure. Build a door. I love it. There you go. That was sweet. You know what, Alina, I want to come back to you on the childcare because that one caught not only did it catch my attention, what was great about it is there was something in writing about it. When I owned a mortgage brokering firm, people were actually being declined because they didn't attribute it directly to childcare, but however, it became a case of the ratios. Your ratios were too high. Your housing ratios were fine. However, your expenses were too high. So that 2836, that 3038 for your principal, interest, tax, and insurance, and then you had your expenses, and it was amazing. And there were people that said, "Hey, well, what do you want me to do with the child? You want me to drop it off at the police station? Is that what's going to help make this?" It was really crazy. So to have an article, and I'll tell you, when I looked at that article, initially I was blown away, and then I had to go back to my own experiences and say to myself, wait a second, why are you acting like you're blown away? You knew that you've known that this kind of thing would happen. And see, we want to be honest people. And in that honesty, we put that information in and we say that yes, that this is what the child care costs. And I remember people saying, well, then Brent, why didn't you make it a lower amount? We're in the business of being honest about things. And then you can't go back to that lender because the lender says, oh, wait a second, I saw this and that was what you were paying then. What happened? And it leads into other things that take us too far away. So I will tell you, critical mass, that is a huge issue. That is a huge problem. And in fact, I'll go so far as to share with you that I had a couple of clients literally quit their jobs. The woman quit her job so that she could stay at home with her child. Husband is working. That puts pressure on him so that they could qualify for the mortgage to get the house.
And actually, I could see that happening, and that actually being, as you mentioned earlier, a wise choice.
It's all about the choices. All about the choices.
Yes, it is. Because if you think about the expense, from my knowledge of what childcare costs, I mean, we're talking, and this is low end. I'm just going to give you the low end and not even talk about the age category of the child, because the younger the child is, the more it costs. If you have infant care, it really goes up high, but we're talking about in between. I'm going to put infants, toddlers, and preschoolers all in the same category, and school-age children. But we're talking anywhere from $150 to almost $350 per week for a child, if not more, and depending on the type of facility that you have your child in. And so therefore, you can imagine why the expenses would be very high when that person is going to look for their mortgage and they're showing you, and it's like this, it's all topsy-turvy over there because they had to pay. And like you said, you just can't drop them anywhere. You have to use the appropriate, childcare facility, all of that kind of stuff. So you're going to, it's a lot.
Yeah, that will make a significant difference on the mortgage for certainty. Yeah. I thought that was such, ladies, gentlemen, ladies in particular, because you are usually the ones that are bringing that child to the child care, negotiating that child care price. And I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of negotiation in price. And it sometimes forces decisions that really require a lot of communication in the family. So excellent, excellent, excellent hot topics. Our hot topic trending reporter for sure. I love it. You knocked it out the park, ma'am. Knocked it out the park. Well, we're going to very shortly be coming up on the top of the hour, and we have announcements, and we have one major, major, major announcement. You know what, Alina? Take it away on E3 Power Up. Talk to us about E3 Power Up, because that's the major announcement.
Well, E3 Power Up, November 5th. We are just elated. Oh, the word is stoked up.
Thank you. Stoked up.
We're stoked up. Yes, very excited about our event happening on November the 5th, welcoming all women, entrepreneurs, business owners. We have great information that is going to be shared, business planning, vision planning. We have information about marketing and sales, crowdfunding. We just have so much information to share on that day. And then not only that, but this is also too a time where we're going to have some fun, because this is a business, not just a business event, but a business launch. So when you're launching something, that it blast off. See that? Did you see that in there?
That's right.
Blast off. And so when something blasts off, you definitely got to have some movement and some fun with it. And we're definitely going to do that. We're looking forward to everybody coming out to the event. And I think our countdown, where are we at in countdown, Brent?
21 days and counting.
21 days and counting.
Yeah.
Please get out, get your tickets for this event. And we would be so thrilled to have you there and to see you, to be part of this.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Alina. One other thing, we said we would have an answer for the women businesses where resources are thin. Who do we have coming in that's going to answer that one, Alina?
That I'm sorry, I lost you.
On the resources. Remember when you talked about the resources and women-owned businesses that do not have necessarily the financial resources, and we've got somebody that's coming in that's going to help us with the resources. None other than Dr. Letitia Wright.
Oh yes. Oh, I mentioned her already. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that part.
Oh my goodness. I'm
so used to your voice bellowing when you talk about that. I was like, I missed that part. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no, I did. I mentioned her. Yes. I didn't say her name, but yes, we do have Dr. Letitia Wright. She's coming from California to talk to us about branding. And she's also going to also have a special closed door meeting, that VIP meeting. She's going to be talking about crowdfunding. And crowdfunding is that topic, is that subject that if you are interested in even doing any investment in your business, you definitely want to have this nugget, because this is going to be something that will definitely at least get you into the ground and then be able to catapult you off in the right direction so that your business can soar at some point.
That is, we are stoked. Now, here's the conservative person. Stoked? Yes. We are actually stoked. Yeah. Okay. Bad versus bag. Okay. I got it. That's a story we'll share at another time. When you come to the event on the 5th, you'll understand what we're talking about.
We're going to have a blast, aren't we, Brent?
Oh, yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are elated and excited. And I think you can hear that in us. We're also, I got to tell you, along with what Alina shared with you regarding the crowdfunding, she talked about Pamela Stone. Pamela Stone has actually worked with Les Brown. And many of us know the statuesque Les Brown, who is really a forerunner when it comes to personal development, transformations. The vision, what is our vision about where we want to be? What is our vision? Where do we want to go? We have a vision of 100,000 people having financial freedom. That's the vision. How do we make that happen? We've got to first see it. So that's why, when people think about it, they're like, well, I can see it in my head. No, I'll tell you what, I have a contract with myself, and that contract is taped to the door of my bedroom. When I get up in the morning, I see it. When I go to sleep at night, I see it. So what's your vision? We're bringing some powerhouses in, like Alina said, some serious powerhouses in. Sometimes the reason we do not get the sale is because we didn't hear what that person said. Sometimes we just want to get our information out, and we didn't hear what the person said, and we've lost the sale because the person feels or sees that we're not interested because we didn't listen to hear what they said. Some people want something very fast. Others want you to take your time, explain everything. Dr. Nancy Zaire is going to handle that for us. We will no longer have that issue, problem, or concern. All of that is happening November 5th. Tickets you can get by going up to the Facebook page called E3 Power Up. Or you can, I just had to say that. Or you can go to Twitter and you can see us on Twitter, or you can go to Eventbrite. We have hit every place possible so that you can get that ticket that you are looking for. With that being said, we're about to wrap it up for today. I want to share with you what we've got going on next week. Next week, week number 3.
People are calling in.
Topic is real estate. What was that again?
I said people are calling in, huh?
People are calling in. I love it. We're going to talk to them offline. Thank you very much.
They're calling in for them tickets. Thank you.
Yeah. Hello. I like that. I like it. I like it. We're going to have episode number 3 in the series on real estate next week. We will have real estate investors to talk with us about where do we want to be purchasing property? How do we want to be purchasing? Right now, what we've done is the primers, got you ready so that you understand the critical factors: credit, savings, employment, your tax returns. Now, we want to talk about what kind of asset do you want to put in your portfolio. So that's happening for us next week. It has clearly been a pleasure to be with you this morning. We had a lot of fun, hot topics and all. Alina, what do you got as we go out? What do you want to share? Last words that you want to share with folks? You got the last word.
My last word was my
Yes, ma'am.
first word.
Okay, whichever one you want to do.
All right. If opportunity doesn't knock, build a door, because we're entrepreneurs.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next week. Go out today and be extraordinary.